Hello YouTube and Barber Nation. This is Dread 101, and today I want to do a brief tutorial on how to properly line your aligners today. And today we're going to be using the Andes brand. These are the Styliners 2. This is actually a new design. It's not the original design. The original design actually had a different body, but I believe everything else is pretty much the same. So today, we're just going to go over briefly how to get a good line on your clippers. Sometimes people tend to snag, pull, or leave people with cuts and bruises after the haircut, and that's no good, because when you come back next week you got a whole nother black line running across your whole head. So today I just want to show some of my new barbers how to kind of get past all that and save yourself a new relationship. Alright, so these are some things you're going to need. You're going to need a Phillips screwdrivers, you're going to need a Phillips, you're going to need a flathead, and of course you're going to need your Styliners. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the blade itself. Now, most Andes, or all Andes, come preset standard factory, however they send them. So a lot of times when you get them out of the box and you cut with them, they're not as sharp, or they don't leave as defined line as you may like sometimes. They actually may leave some hair. So, typically people line them to try to get past all that. So what we're going to do is, first we're going to take our Phillips and we're going to detach these two screws here. Okay, we have the two screws out. What you want to do is just take your two screws and set them to the side over here, because they're easy to lose. And once you lose them, that's pretty much it. Okay, so you detach the assembly. And this is the assembly of the blade. Okay. Now what we want to pay attention to are these three screws. They have three screws, which requires a Phillips and a flathead. These two actually adjust the whole blade. And this screw here is actually more like a tension pulley. It controls how fluid it moves as far as back and forth. So first thing we're going to deal with, we're just going to adjust it. So we're going to loosen these two screws. Not take them all the way out, but just loosen them up. Okay, so yes, we loosen these two screws. Now, doing that causes this to happen. You can actually adjust that, see, like so. So what happens is when you do that, you can see where these two blades align. Now what you don't want is this blade to overlap this blade. Now another thing you don't want is for this blade to be perfectly even with this blade, because that's where you get your scratching, pulling, or we call it biting, or too sharp. So a good way to kind of combat that is, now that we got it loose, notice two screws still in, turn it upside down and we lay it flush like so against a hard surface like so, and you tilt it to a 30-degree angle and make sure it's real flush. Now while you got it at the angle, you take your screwdriver, you hold it, and you screw it back in. Okay, now that we have that done, we tighten those two screws back. Now a lot of people make the mistake of trying to actually eyeball this themselves. And the only problem is when you try to adjust it and hold the thumb and screw it, it typically moves. So that's why it's always best just to kind of use it against some type of flat, hard surface, because that way you can get it, to level itself out better, because it's actually a flat surface. Okay, now the third screw, this screw right here, requires a flathead. This is your tension pulley. So you may notice sometimes if you had them a while, like it may snag loose hair, or it may not cut coarse hair. It may, what we call, get stuck. So if you have that problem, it's probably either the blade's too tight or it's too loose. So this is the situation. If you can't cut real fine hair, it's probably because it's too loose. This is moving back and forth too loosely, and you want to tighten it up. And you would do that, controlling this screw here. Or if it's not cutting coarse hair, maybe because it's too stiff. So that way you want to come back to the screw here. And you can control this screw here just by actually taking your flathead, coming here, and just actually turning it. And if you turn it counterclockwise, it actually loosens it. And if you turn it clockwise, it tightens it. So just according, you can kind of gauge. And sometimes what you can kind of do to get away real slick, instead of before you having to put it back on and putting screws back together, you don't have to do that. You can just put it on cut it on and then see how it cuts. And if not, just take it back off, tighten it back up, or loosen it up and put it back on like so. And just make sure you get your finger on there real tight, and you can test it out that way. Okay, now once you've done all that, you just simply want to put your blade back on top, take the 2 screws and assemble it back in place. And that's pretty much it, guys. You can kind of just gauge it from there, try it out and see how it works. And if it's not working, then just take it apart and go through those steps, those strategies again. But, you know, for the most part, this is just for, you know, people who are just getting in the game. When it's a waste of money and somebody tell you, hey, I can sharpen your clippers, just give me this much. You know, like I say, it's unnecessary. You can do it yourself for free, and it takes no time at all. And, you know, really, it just makes you more experienced as a barber. So I hope this was helpful for anybody, you know, who may need help on anything else. You know, just hit me up, Facebook, Khalif Legend L Babe Facebook, or you can email me, ckhalif@gmail.com, or you can leave a positive comment, doesn't matter. But again, this is Dread 101, to my YouTube and to my Barber Nation. Peace.